Hello again YouTube, this is Dr. Jonas Welsh, also known as At11 on City of Heroes on the Union server, and we're continuing on Posterity videos for my characters leading into what is now the final week of City of Heroes before it gets shut down on Saturday. Well, it'll be Saturday for us here in the UK, in the EU, and this is the last character in the sort of like set of 4 characters of the Dunelm Kingdom, which was a supergroup on the villain side. This character is Bella Furia. Surprise, surprise, yet another scrapper. This is a Katana energy aura scrapper. And this is also a character that's completely original. So this isn't an alternative version of any existing characters on the on hero side, essentially. Bit of an evil laugh there, because this is a proper psycho bitch, this one, if you can't really tell from the face going on here. Yeah, so actually before the energy aura sort of like bleached it out, so I say it's Katana, but the actual weapon skin is a rusted machete. Yeah, that's how crazy this woman is. So okay, we'll go and do another council mission. I know I seem to do a lot of random council paper missions, which, you know, if anyone was looking for me to do a variety of missions with a variety of enemy groups and whatnot, sorry, but I just wanted to be able to show the character and what they could do, you know, without getting hindered from, you know, anything sort of like, you know, annoying or special like carnies or malt or anything like that. There's better people than me out there that's obviously recording game footage for posterity that is better than me at being able to just put up with the enemy types. Yeah, I mean, the council just nice and easy, straightforward, you just go in and that's it, so, you know, there we go. Right, so a little bit of history on this character. It always has been a scrapper, although originally I'd actually made a Katana willpower scrapper, and this was also a hero. The character, I originally had one that was actually called Elvian, and it was literally my first female character in the game after 3 years or 4 years of playing, and that was because I was a bit tired of just the sort of like constant sort of badgery from people. It's like, well, where's your female character? Because you've only got nothing male. You've got a problem. It's like, I just don't really want to make one, to be quite honest. So I ended up making a female 11, just essentially really just to shut people up and stop pestering us about the fact that I didn't have a female character. So I'd originally made like essentially a female alternative universe, like, you know, 11. I believe is rules. What's that? That's rules 64, I think it is, or something. No, I can't remember off the top of my head anymore what it's referred to. I think it's rule 64 anyway. And it was a Katana willpower. Got up to 50. Played really well, kind of like the set. But then just got to a point where I thought, right, I'm going to do a bit of a sort of rethink on some of the characters and change backstories here and there a little bit. And really, I just didn't want an alternate female version 11 anymore. The concept just didn't suit. It was fairly silly. It was only made in jest for the fact that, you know, people wouldn't leave me alone about the fact that I didn't have a female character. So it was realigned back to villain side, because why waste a good 50? That was the line of thought, and bought a rename token and came up with the name Bella Furia, and got the look here. But in the end, the character was deleted and renamed as a result of obviously remaking Angar, who you saw in the previous video, because he was made at one point as Energy Aura, which is not a bad shield set, to be honest, but concept-wise couldn't keep it on Angar because it does actually have a stealth element, Energy Aura, and well, Angar wasn't obviously built for stealth. He's a giant massive brute that's meant to just dive in and smash with a hammer, so he's not really meant to be sneaky. So made the decision that I was going to remake Angar for willpower Titan weapons, and I didn't want, you know, a load of willpower characters lying around, you know, like as I mentioned in the last video. So I thought, right, okay, I gave Energy Aura a go. It was still looked like it was a pretty decent power set for a shield. So I'll just remake Bella Furia. So I remade her as she is now. So she was probably the last 50 I recently got to 50 essentially. Oh well, other than Mudslay, he was the last one because Water Blast hasn't been out that long. And I think earlier this year essentially remade Bella Furia and got her to 50 again, but using Energy Aura. So okay, so Katana, unlike Katana was kind of shared a bit like Broadsword on the Scrapper sense that it was. Just make sure I stay alive here. Very single target orientated. I think whereas Broadsword was slower cast time, but made up for it in damage. Katana was essentially quick recharging cast time, but wasn't as damaging. I think the idea was obviously you were doing your damage over time by just the amount of attacks you were piping out. So still had its defense based sort of attack, which gave you a massive boost. So again, with a defense based shield type, it was very very powerful in that sense. Although Energy Aura probably wasn't seen as very defense heavy, it was almost like it was like sort of like minor defense and some minor damage resistance, really speaking. So yeah, I don't really know much about Energy Aura. I only really just got into it essentially within the last year. I do remember one time it was only available on Brutes before it became available for Scrappers and Tanks as well. But I do distinctly remember that it was considered the worst of the blaster shield types essentially. Even Dark Armour was considered better. And Dark Armour usually gets a bit of a bad rap, which is a bit unfair if you know how to use it properly essentially. But Energy Aura was considered just so bad that just wasn't touched. So I believe it did get some work on, and it got the self heal power, which wasn't there before. Energize, which helped out a lot, and they made some other sort of changes. Then it became a set that people actually could get into. So it's got minor defense and has a bit of a stealth component, which adds to the defense as well. Although it isn't like Stalker Hide or anything. But it kind of adds to the defense almost. And then it survives purely by having a self heal and an energy drain on enemies, so that if you're getting hit and your health is getting bad, well, you've got an energize. You can probably get the recharge down quickly enough so that it was available to you at all times. And I mean, you could obviously deal with endurance cost with IOs on Incarnate, or just make sure you've got a pop a load of blue inspirations. But it also had obviously energy drain. It was a signature power for energy. So the idea was obviously that double turns appear and you essentially leech the endurance off the enemies in doing so. So yeah, I didn't really get much playtime with Energy Aura, but it seemed to it seemed to come across as being well. It would have been nice again. It's a one that I was hoping to IO out to the point of obviously going for defense cap again. So it might have been somewhat ridiculously powerful in the same vein of super reflexes as well on say 11 and whatnot, but again didn't have that chance. But it came across as a fairly decent defense set, probably not the best in my opinion compared to the other ones, but it seemed alright. It also seemed to suit this character really. It's like, okay, I'll give it a go. I didn't want to make another super reflexes or invulnerability or willpower or whatever else. it was a case of, yeah, something different. So I thought, yeah, I can make it work with Bella Fury. I can make the concept around it. I never really actually did come up with a solid concept for Bella Fury as far as like concept. It was a case of just I needed another character, another soldier in the team, as it were. I think that's all she is. Essentially, just came with the concept of, obviously she's psychotic because she's essentially just being made that way. You know, more experimentation and testing, and it's granted her the power that she's got, but otherwise it's also resulted in her just being psychotic and whatnot. But again, I think it was more of a case of she quite happily volunteered, so to speak. So I don't really have like a solid backstory or anything for Bella Fury. She was just really just a character in there. I probably would have given time, fleshed out some more, and I might still do, obviously, if I obviously, you know, continue creating superhero characters in Champions or other games that may come out, or if, you know, City of essentially is reborn in some fashion. So I know that there's still people hoping against hope, and it's pretty much gone. I mean, that's it. After this week, it's gone. Although one of the other rumours coming around at the moment is that actually NCSoft are waiting to probably sell it after the game's shut down, because they'll actually get they'll be free of potential legal complications if they were to sell it while it was still active, apparently. Whereas they'll be able to sell it when it's essentially shut, because there's supposedly no reasoning behind it. I'm being told by a friend of mine that I met through City of Cactus Brawler, who's fairly in touch with the industry, that it makes sense, that rumour, but obviously it's just, again, rumour, so we don't really know what's happening still. You know, so we're just gonna see out really the end of the week, and that's it. So as I said, I've still got other characters to show. There's 4 more to go through. 3 villains and a hero. 2 which will probably be very quick videos because I haven't really got much to talk about them. And I may still, before the week's out, get something done involving missions where I won't be giving commentary, and you can just obviously see the mission in action. Still tempted to do that, but there'll definitely be the video at the end of the week on the final moments, essentially. Planning to essentially record the moment that it all goes down. So there we go, just through this then. So yeah, not much more else to say. Again, another scrapper though. Love my scrappers. Could have worked as a brute potentially, because oh no, I don't think Katana's was available on brutes actually. Yeah, that's right. They didn't even get broadswords. I know it was called upon broadswords for brutes because it seemed to make sense that, but yeah, they only got they got some of the weapons. They got the battle axe and the war mace, but they didn't get Katana, which is funny because they did get claws. But yeah, the Stalker's got the Katana, although it was referred to as Ninja Blade on that one. So, but yeah, probably was always going to be a scrapper. You know, scrappers just were. Actually, I got myself involved in a thread. Actually, one of the red names, one of the mods actually simply had a thread called Scrappers, and he put the big Scrapper icon logo at the top of the post, and basically, you know, announced how he was going to miss Scrappers himself, even as essentially a moderator of the game and whatnot. So I had to get my my word in as well, obviously saying that I wore my Scrapper pin badge, because I do actually have a pin badge of the Scrapper logo that I got from one of the players one of the previous player meets. I've got the Statesman star, I've got the Arachnos symbol one, and I've got the Scrapper logo. I said, well, yeah, that's definitely going to have that. I was hoping I was going to pick up the Brute one actually from the players meet that happened this year that I didn't go to for personal reasons. But I think they actually all disappeared, so I ended up with some more of the other like pin badges that I already got. Actually, someone to keep in the spares to probably gift to someone at some point if so to speak. So I think this is the last mob, isn't it? Yeah, there's a name boss. So yeah, so Katana was a really suited the Scrapper set. It also suited the Stalker set as well. We'll get to see Stalkers soon, which were the villain equivalent of Scrappers. Slightly different sense. Obviously, they're two of the villains that I'm referring to that you'll get to see. So, but yeah, not much more else to say. I think on Bella Furia. So, the mad woman with the rusted machete. So yeah, another one of my many scrappers. That was Bella Furia, and that's the end of the Dunelm Kingdom as well. So yeah, we'll leave it at there. So we'll be moving on to the final 4 characters. Be looking at a mastermind, I believe, next. So yeah, so this is Dr. Jonas Welsh, also known as At11, and I'll catch you next time.